Well, what do you know? So it looks like current PlayStation AAA development model is unsustainable. Let's look into this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So let's talk about PlayStation today. I want to talk about their current business model, AAA games development business model. Now, a quick question for you guys. Do you know who said this? Current AAA development model is unsustainable. I'll give you a hint. That's former PlayStation executive. You know? Okay, let me tell you, Sean Layden. So I'm sure you know this guy. Great guy, CEO of PlayStation. And, he's really, or he was really the guy who built PlayStation 3 and 4 success, I guess. Maybe PlayStation 4 success for the most part, I guess. And that was all based on, development of AAA games, and that what made PlayStation 4 a success. But even like with PlayStation 3 and a little bit with PlayStation 4, they had quite a lot of indie titles, and especially at the very beginning of PlayStation 4 era, they had a lot of smaller, very unique titles too. That made PlayStation 4 unique too. And unfortunately, they moved away from it. They shifted into this whole AAA game development, which is fine. I mean, I like these big budget kind of games too, right? I really enjoy them on PlayStation. But the problem is that type of business model is unsustainable. And this is coming from Sean Layden. That was back in 2000, right? 4 years ago. Today, it's 2024. I know, time flies, right? But there was this huge leak from Insomniac. It wasn't really a leak, meaning it's not like they leaked that. Information got stolen from Insomniac, so that was obviously very unfortunate. And I really feel bad for developers, especially that not only business information kind of leaked, but also games like unfinished builds. That's very, very bad for Spider-Man 3 and and Wolverine, I think, as well. But anyway, that's not what I'm here today. That's not what I want to talk about today. So after the Sean Layden's comments back in 2000, right? A lot of people either totally ignored it because back then, PlayStation was at top of the game, and leading the pack and that kind of stuff and making a lot of money. And or some people basically said that that's not really the case, and why would PlayStation actually shift to any other model? And then PlayStation 5 generation came, and Sean Layden was kind of pushed out, and Jim Ryan took over. Funny enough, he's almost gone. He's pretty much gone to but anyway, he resigned apparently. And what he did when he took over, Jim Ryan, he shifted the business model a little bit. Meaning that he really wanted to focus more on games as service, right? Co-op games that you can sell, all kinds of microtransactions and that kind of stuff. More like Activision, Blizzard, whatever, or even Xbox kind of model where you've got games that offer longevity, longer lifespan, right? And I don't really want to say that they failed in it. Well, not yet, but they kind of shifted away from that now again, apparently too, because all that investment that went into the games as service and that kind of stuff apparently didn't pan out. Not just yet. Factions got cancelled. Destiny and Bungie is in trouble apparently too. So I don't know what's really going on at PlayStation right now when it comes to management and that kind of stuff. But we know for sure that this PlayStation AAA big budget kind of business model doesn't really work well for PlayStation, unfortunately, because they are selling a lot of consoles because a lot of people love these games, but these games are just becoming too expensive to make. Quality costs quite a lot of money, and that's very obvious, especially now with the new generation, with PlayStation 5 generation, because when Sean Layden was saying that the PlayStation current model or previous model wasn't really sustainable much, he was talking about games reaching cost of the game reaching anything between 80 to 150 million. That was last generation, guys. This generation, the costs actually doubled, right? I mean, we've seen the numbers already from the leaks. Last of Us Part 2, I think, did cost like 210 million to produce. I think that's just the production, so you still have to spend money on marketing, right? Spider-Man 2, 310 million, right? So by the end of this generation, the cost of some games plus marketing and stuff, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if cost of producing and selling, as in marketing these games, may reach up to $500 million. That's a lot of money. So you really, I mean, PlayStation or whoever spends that kind of money on games really have to sell a lot of these games, right? And the problem with these games a lot of times is that they are not necessarily super short, but they don't offer much in terms of replayability. Yes, you can play the same game a number of times if you like, right? But that's not what I'm talking about. There's no incentive to go back to these games, once for a while, unless there's a DLC. But Miles Morales was a kind of DLC, and they made it into like a separate game, and apparently it didn't actually make that much money. Ratchet and Clank didn't make any money on PlayStation. I mean, they just broke even. PC version actually saved that game, made it actually profitable. So you see that like all that money going into the production of these games it's great. These games are very, very good, and like from gamers' perspective, that's fantastic news, right? But from business perspective, that's not great news. That's why I'm sure you remember my video from a couple of days ago where I was talking about that Xbox is actually more profitable than PlayStation, meaning pure profits, right? They've got much higher margins. Even though they sell less consoles and they've got less revenue, the actual margins are higher for Xbox, and they make more money. And why? Because they've got all kinds of services, but also they've got a lot of games as service. Sea of Thieves, Halo, Gears, like all these games. These games come with very good single player campaigns, which I play for the most part, but they also offer a long time commitment when it comes to like DLCs or maps or multiplayer, for example, right? Like even during PlayStation 3 era, a lot of these games would come with some form of multiplayer. These days, PlayStation 4, during PlayStation 4 generation, a lot of PlayStation games did not offer any form of multiplayer. So I'm not saying that there's no incentive to play this game, but like you don't spend that much in these games anymore. You don't buy, microtransactions and whatever, right? And you don't get that constant revenue from these games, like as a company, as PlayStation, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what Sony is going to do about it. Like, yeah, they did try to pivot. They did try to focus more on games as service. I'm not saying that they are actually totally backing off of it. I'm sure they will still be investing money in that segment, but it may take a while before they really start making money on these, because like so many projects got cancelled. It looks like they were just like too fast to invest in some of these projects. Like I don't know. Maybe that's why Jim is kind of gone almost, and maybe he just thought that, oh, we'll just throw a bunch of money and we'll tell these studios to make multiplayer games and, done deal. But that's not the way it works. If you don't have talent, if you don't have people that know how to make these games, well, it's mission impossible pretty much. And, they bought Bungie, and even Bungie is actually, well, a little bit in trouble right now, right? I mean, they are laying off people, and so it's kind of, PlayStation is in this very weird spot right now, where from customers' perspective, it's a market leader. They offer a ton of great games. They've got very good console, that sells like hotcakes. Like within the next 2-3 years, will they probably reach 100 million consoles sold. But hey, business is not really healthy for them, even though they've been raising prices of games and services and consoles, and that still doesn't really bring the profits that they would expect, I think, right? So guys, we'll see how that goes, but clearly Sony needs to do something, and now they are apparently afraid of Microsoft and Xbox, and the fact that they've got Activision and all these games as service that will just bring them a ton of money, and Sony doesn't have such IPs, and they do have services, but they don't offer games day one there. They've been putting a lot of their games on PC, and there's going to be even more. And like I said, Ratchet and Clank, the only reason it's been successful, as in profitable, is because of PC, because they only broke even on PlayStation. It's the PC version that made a difference, that made the game profitable. So there's a ton of money on PC table. So PlayStation just need to release games on PC, and if they keep releasing games like 2-3 years after the release on PlayStation, that's really not going to be great business, because you may grab some of these PC guys and you may actually force them into buying PlayStation, but all they will do is play 2 or 3 games on PlayStation exclusives, and rest of the games they will play on PC. So that's not a good business for PlayStation either. You want people engaged. You want people that will stay in your ecosystem, not just buy a console to play 2 or 3 games and that's it, right? You're not making money on these people. So anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm very curious what PlayStation is going to do, how they're going to react, how they're going to change. More games on PC, that's a given, but rest of it, who knows. Anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care.